Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is TechnicallyTee, and today I want to talk a little bit about the iMac that you see behind me, because I realized that I haven't done, or I haven't really talked about why I picked up this iMac after, I was trying to get my desk set up together. I had the whole dual monitor, 4K monitor, MacBook Pro with the Thunderbolt 3 dock and all that stuff. I had all that set up, man, and then boom, you look up and I have an iMac. This is basically what happened. This is my reasoning for getting the iMac. Now, as you know before, I did have, like I said, a Dell 4K monitor, and I also had a 13-inch MacBook Pro. Now, those I absolutely love. Do not get me wrong. I really love that setup, and I felt like that was my first real desk setup. You already know I've been going through with the cameras and different things like that, but what I really wanted to get heavily involved in was 4K. And my MacBook Pro, even though it was powerful, you already know you can't update the RAM or anything like that. And when I bought that MacBook Pro, I really didn't future-proof it to my liking. I really didn't get it beefed up enough to handle 4K in the past. Now, it could handle 4K, don't get me wrong, but just not up to the par where I wanted to. Also, I wanted a simpler setup, because you can see behind me, my desk setup isn't that big, so that kind of limits me to what space I have on my desk to use equipment. So therefore, I wanted an all-in-one solution, something more simplified, and what better choice to go with besides picking up an iMac. Now, the model that I went with was basically their top tier if you look on the Apple's website. Now, this is a 27-inch. It is the 3.8 gigahertz version. Now, I didn't upgrade to the SSD, so it does have the 2 terabytes Fusion drive, which is good enough for me. We'll get into that a little bit more. And of course, I didn't upgrade Apple RAM. If you buy an iMac, never update through their website, because it is absolutely expensive, and you can buy your own RAM for cheaper online on Amazon and different places like that. You can buy it for a lot cheaper. So pro tip, never order RAM when you are getting an iMac. But if you bought it out there, be my guest, go ahead and do it. So basically, I sold my whole setup. So everything of my old setup, which was my 4K monitor, the MacBook Pro, the Thunderbolt, I sold everything, and that basically paid for this. And I got this for a very, very good deal, brand new from Apple. Now, what I love about the iMac, man, is that display. Now, I know they've been around for a while, especially that 5K display. And if you've been in the Apple stores, you've already played with it, so you already know how crisp it was. But I didn't really get the full gist of it until I got it hooked up in here, turn that brightness up, and then you pop a 5K wallpaper on that screen. It is absolutely amazing. And editing 4K is absolutely a breeze there, because you can really see the quality of what you are actually editing and what you shot. And coming from this Sony camera, which downsamples that 6K to the 4K, you already know, looking at it on this 5K iMac screen looks absolutely smooth. And another thing that was having really hard problem with was audio on my last setup. Now, my desk is absolutely so small, it's kind of tight. I really couldn't even fit the speakers that I bought from Logitech. I really couldn't fit them because it didn't really have any space on my desk. So the sound from the iMac absolutely clears that up. Now, if you are audiophile, the audio isn't the best, but I feel like it's pretty solid. I don't have any issues with it at all. I don't really play music from it, but when I do, it sounds good enough for me. And the most time, I'm just listening to myself talking, ramble, editing these videos, and for that, it does absolutely perfect. And the performance, that's the main reason why I upgraded, and that was the performance. Now, I know people are gonna say, T, why didn't you go out there and pick up the iMac Pro? Why didn't you go out and pick up the brand new MacBook Pro? For me, it's not a rendering race. I don't care if this machine renders a minute before this one. I don't care if this machine renders 30 seconds faster than this one. I don't care. I'm not in a race to render. I'm not in a race to get my videos up on YouTube. Everything does just fine with this iMac. I did boost up the RAM to 24 gigs. I mean, that's plenty enough for me. When I edit my 4K videos, it does it without any issues at all, and it performs fast enough for me. Now, I'm not knocking everybody out there that goes out and pick the iMac Pro up. If you want those big beefy specs and you want to be on the top dog when it comes to the computer game, then do your thing. But the thing about it is, for me, I'm being a realist. I'm living in my means, and I'm getting first of all, I'm getting what I can afford, because I don't have time to sell this shoulder, the leg, and everything to get the iMac Pro. I don't have time for that. 4K does just fine on this. I don't need all of those super duper speed tests and the SSD. Look, I'm fine. I don't care if it takes 3 or 4 more seconds to drag a file from my camera over to my computer. I'm completely fine with that. Every time I render or do anything, I can edit 4K, and then when that's running in the background, I can flip it over, you know, to Affinity Photo or whatever I'm using to make my thumbnails, and it does absolutely fine. There is no slowdowns, there isn't anything like that. So therefore, it works for me, and I don't need to go out there and drop $3, $4 grand, $5 grand on some iMac where this does just fine and just is a different color and, you know, a little more weaker. But I'm fine with that, man. This iMac does super good on performance. Like I said, never buy RAM when you go through Apple. Go out there on Amazon if you have a local micro center like I did. Went out there and bought me a couple sticks. So it's currently at 24. Now I do want to eventually get up to that 64, man, but that takes a little bit of money, and I'm making slow upgrades to the RAM as I go. But 24 right now has been more than enough. I know a little bit later I'm going to go ahead and go to that 32, and I'll probably stick with that for a very long time, because what I have right now, I feel like for the 4K that I edit, it's fine for me, and it doesn't do any slowdown. So that's why I'm good with those 24 gigs of RAM. Now, when buying the iMac, I did purchase the upgraded keyboard, which does have the numeric keyboard numbers on the side of it. I also picked up the trackpad. Now, about that trackpad, I just wasn't a fan of it. Everybody was gonna tell me, oh, it's a godsend when you get to editing your videos. But when I got that trackpad hooked up and actually started using it, I hated it. I really hated the feel of that trackpad. So I sold that. I got rid of that thing, man, and definitely, as you know, went up and picked me out one of the best mouse out there, and that's basically the Logitech MX Master. But the keyboard, I love it. The trackpad, I wasn't a fan. And the Magic Mouse, you know, we're not even gonna talk about that because I know nobody really uses the Magic Mouse, but there may be somebody out there that likes it. Super crisp display. The audio is absolutely perfectly fine for what I use it for, and the performance level when editing 4K is absolutely beautiful. It edits butter smooth. I don't have any hiccups, any issues. You might get a spinny wheel here and there every now and then, but usually it's some old stupid freak reason why it does it, and I don't really think it has anything to do with the actual power of the machine. I don't really have much what else to say about it, man. I absolutely love it. It's a lot more simpler. The 27-inch was absolutely perfect. Now I do plan on later on down the line getting another external display to hook up to it so I can get back to those double screens, because it's nothing like having double screens when I like to watch some of you guys' videos and then edit on my other screen, or do my thumbnails on this screen while I watch you guys on the next screen. You know what I mean? It's nothing like that. So I do plan on getting another display, maybe a Thunderbolt display, or it can be just a 27-inch 4K display or whatever. But I love it, man. That's basically why I got rid of my whole old setup and went out and picked me up in 2017 iMac. So if you like this video, guys, hit that like button. Definitely hit that subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.